Copy that. We have 700.
And there's our first view of the International Space Station from a engineering television camera mounted on the Progress 57 cargo craft. In the lower left-hand corner of this engineering display, you can see the number of meters now that the Progress is away from the station, 860 and 855, and slowly decreasing as it closes in on the station. And the bottom value is the rate of closure, now at about 3.1 meters per second. That rate of closure will slow to a glacial 1/10 of a meter per second at the time of contact and capture to the Piers docking compartment.
Max, you can use AGC mode. Copy. In order to improve the image. Copy. Ready to send operation command and use AGC mode after that. How copy? We copy. Operation mode. Copy, Max. And you're on page 22?
We're about 3 minutes away from the start of the fly-around by the Progress of the International Space Station. That will begin when the Progress is closed to a distance of about 400 meters from the International Outpost. That fly-around will be at an angle of 61.5 degrees relative to the station, enabling the Progress to align itself and its forward docking probe to the Piers docking compartment, which again is on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment of the International Outpost.
Keep checking into it. Moscow, we're going to leave it at this. Copy, Max. That's fine. And we'll disable operation mode. Copy and concur, Max.
Less than 6 hours ago, this resupply craft was on the launch pad on a chilly day in Baikonur. The temperatures at launch time about 32 degrees Fahrenheit. That launch into a cloudless sky was spectacular, and the ascent and delivery of the Progress into orbit a flawless operation. And there's our first view of the Progress craft. At the time of launch, the International Space Station was more than 1,200 statute miles ahead of the Progress craft, and there it is closing in for its docking to the International Space Station 21 minutes from now. Having flown into an orbital sunrise, the Progress moving in toward its port of call, which is the Piers docking compartment, where it will spend the next 6 months attached to Piers, moving from southwest to northeast in an orbit inclined 51.6 degrees to either side of the equator, soon to cross the west coast of South America directly over Quito, Ecuador.
Houston Station on 2 for some VCTV troubleshooting.
Moscow Station. We're at 415 meters, 1.4 meters per second closing rate, and no fault messages. On the starboard window, we are seeing Progress vehicle approach. Not me myself, but Elena is looking at the starboard window, and she's saying that she can see the vehicle. Copy.
This is Mission Control Houston, the visiting vehicle officer here in the flight control room, confirming that the Progress 57 cargo craft has begun its fly around to the station.
300.
Again, this maneuver will take just a couple of minutes to complete, that will align the Progress with the Piers docking compartment for a short period of station keeping to allow the Russian flight controllers and Korolev to assess the Progress's systems before initiating the command for final approach.
Balance 290 meters, 0.6 to 0.65 meters per second closing. Copy.
Progress now 285 meters away from the International Space Station.
Progress approach.
About two-thirds of the way through its fly-around. Typically, when the period of station keeping begins, it is very brief. The Russian flight controllers simply have an opportunity to quickly check the Progress's systems, to check its alignment to the docking port of choice, and then it proceeds in on final approach. Good view of the Progress 57 cargo ship. That is not a flashing light, that's a reflective beacon. That is part of the Corps' automated rendezvous system that sends a reciprocal radio beacon signal to a comparable system on the Zvezda service module that enables an exchange of navigational data, updating the Progress's onboard computers as to its range from its docking target and its rate of closure.
Range is 230. We're in roll correction maneuver. Copy.
If this had been a nighttime pass, you would have seen thruster firings from the Progress, all performed automatically by its onboard computers as it precisely aligns itself for a period of station keeping prior to final approach. Progress in the International Space Station about to cross the coast of Ecuador, moving from southwest to northeast. It will also pass almost directly over Bogota, Colombia, and Maracaibo, Venezuela, before passing out across the Caribbean and over San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Range is 218. 18.
218 meters separating Progress and its destination at the station. Fly around almost complete.
Андрей, тебе от Алекса большой привет.
And Andrei, Alex says hi.
Алекс от меня.
Thank you. And please say the same to Alex from me.
Нет, не передам.
No, I won't.
And as you can see from this view from the Progress's television camera, a roll maneuver is underway. This aligns its solar arrays in the proper orientation for final approach and docking.
Roll adjustment from predicts, I'm guessing. Copy, Max. We're in the roll maneuver right now. We're at 210 meters. AKR antennas and SM solar arrays are within range. That is, we're looking at them and we're station keeping. Copy.
Progress has begun its station keeping on schedule.
Выдать команду «Работа» и формат 44.
Please send a command to enable operation mode and switch to display 44. Copy. Enabling operation mode and then selecting display 44. Copy, Max.
Есть, причал.
And we show final approach.
And after just a few seconds of station keeping, an early start to final approach with all of the Progress's systems in excellent shape.
Copy.
Итак, контролируйте процесс прицеливания. Набор скорости.
And please monitor final approach. We're accelerating. Right. 0.8 for closing rate. We're at 170 meters. And docking port is almost at the center, maybe one square higher than the center. Copy.
"160 meters now separating Progress from the International Space Station. You can see those accordion-like solar arrays. Those are the solar arrays on the first element ever launched on the International Space Station, the Zarya module. That was launched on a Proton rocket from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan back on November 20th, 1998. Those solar arrays were folded up permanently, no longer needed, since the Zarya module obtains most of its power generation from the United States orbital segment solar arrays. Flying passively 261 miles over Ecuador, the Progress 57 cargo ship loaded with almost 3 tons of supplies for the International Space Station in the home stretch of its 4-orbit, 6-hour fast-track journey.
We're at 110 meters. No fault indications.
Принято.
Copy.
Новый корабль «Прогресс» стоит напротив.
And Progress vehicle is right across from the docking port.
Принято.
Copy. And we can confirm visually looking at the windows. Copy, Max.
Дальность 80.
80 meters. 0.4 range rate. No fault indications. Copy.
Стыковочный узел в центре.
Docking port is at the center and the target is at the center. Copy.
Range is now 70 meters, closing at 0.2 of a meter per second, everything in good shape.
Дальность у нас 50 метров.
50 meters, 0.18 range rate. We're closing and no fault indications. The target and the docking port are at the center. Copy, please continue to comment and monitor approach process. Copy and work at 30 meters. We are ready to enable operation mode. On your go, Moscow. And we'll be ready to send a command to retreat or escape. What would you like? Escape enabled is what we'd like you to send the command for max at 30 meters. Copy, we'll do at 30 meters.
That call was confirmation that the command was issued to retract the Corps' automated rendezvous antenna. And the Corps' antenna has retracted as scheduled at a distance of just 45 meters from the Progress to the Piers docking compartment.
47 meters. Ready, and confirm that SSVP is ready for mate.
Closing at a rate of just under 0.2 of a meter per second, the Progress making its way toward its final destination and a 6-month stay attached to the Piers docking compartment. Again, the Progress loaded with almost 2,000 pounds of propellant, 48 pounds of oxygen, 57 pounds of air, 926 pounds of water, and 2,822 pounds of other supplies, dry cargo, spare parts, experiment hardware, and supplies for the Expedition 41 and 42 crews.
Дальность
30 meters. Enabling operation mode. And escape enabled. Command is armed. Copy, Max. Escape enabled. Command's been sent. 2 LEDs are on, right? Copy, Max.
Good navigational data continues to be received on board by Max Sarayev, the Expedition 41 commander, and flight engineer Alexander Samakutyayev in the Zvezda service module. Closing in on a docking on what so far has been a flawless journey from the launch pad at the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan. You can see the docking target just underneath the Piers docking compartment docking port itself. The crosshairs on this engineering camera will ultimately overlay that docking target, precisely overlay it, and that will be any correction that is required is done automatically by the Progress's onboard computers. Progress in the International Space Station flying 261 miles over San Juan, Puerto Rico at this hour. 22 meters separating the two vehicles.
22 meters, 0.13 range rate. No fault messages, and the target is at the center. Copy, Max. Please continue to monitor range relative to the size of the target. Copy, Moscow.
Далее
17 meters.
Progress moving in at its nominal closing rate of about 1/10 of a meter per second.
Наблюдаем.
And we're watching through the windows.
Корабль «Прогресс».
Seeing Progress vehicle. We're at 10 meters range. The target is at the center. Crosshairs are aligned. SSVP is still ready.
Скорость 0,1.
0.1 range rate. Copy.
Дальность 5.
5 meters range.
Принято.
Copy.
Дальность 3.
7 meters separating the two vehicles.
Standing by for contact.
We are standing by for contact and capture of the International Space Station.
Standing by for contact.
Есть касание.
Have contact.
Docking confirmed.
Copy, Max.
Подтверждаем.
And we confirm.
Capture confirmed. Docking confirmed at 8:08 a.m. Central Time as the International Space Station and the Progress 57 cargo craft flew 261 miles over the Atlantic Ocean.
Free drift is confirmed, and congratulations to the entire flight control team. Thank you, Max. Congratulations on the arrival of yet another.
The relative motion between the two vehicles is still dampening out. The retraction of the docking probe on the Progress is the next step in the sequence of events. The retraction of the probe will initiate the hooks on the Progress side of the docking interface closing to form a hard mate to the Piers docking compartment. We'll be standing by for that. A view of the Russian flight control room there just a moment ago. Now back to external cameras on the International Space Station's truss. Everything has gone extremely well, very smoothly, with the approach and docking of the Progress 57 cargo craft to the Piers docking compartment. It was just a week ago today that Max Sarayev and Alexander Samokhutyaev ventured out of the Piers docking compartment for a spacewalk. Today they were inside the Zvezda service module, monitoring the approach of this resupply craft for its docking.
Can you hear the electrical drive operating? Can you tell if probe is retracting? Is there a way for you to listen to it? Of course. I sent Alexander to DC, and he's going to put his ear to it and try to tell if he hears the probe retraction. Alexander is saying that he can hear the electrical drive operating. Yeah, he's confirming that he can hear it. And the drive is still operating.
This is Mission Control Houston. Confirmation now received that the hooks on the Progress side of the docking interface have closed. That forms a hard mate between the Progress and the International Space Station. So Progress is home at the Piers docking port, where it will remain for the next 6 months. It was a simply flawless transit from the launch pad of the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan, launch occurring at 2:09 a.m. Central Time, 1:09 p.m. Baikonur time, and 5 hours and 59 minutes later, docking occurring over the Atlantic Ocean at an altitude of 261 statute miles. The crews on board the International Space Station will now begin work to conduct a leak check at the docking interface. This will be in advance of the opening of the hatch to the Progress resupply vehicle that is scheduled for Thursday morning. Other work abounds on the international outpost today. Maintenance work on another U.S. spacesuit, and of course the ongoing scientific research being performed by the crew members constituting the Expedition 41 crew aboard the international outpost. So with that, we'll wrap up our coverage. Progress 57 has made a flawless journey to the International Space Station to deliver almost 3 tons of food, fuel, and supplies. One programming note, we'll be recapping all of the activities, particularly over the last 24 hours in the life of the International Space Station on Space Station Live, coming up at 10 a.m. Central Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Time here on NASA television. So you'll want to stay tuned for that. In the meantime, we wish you a good day. Progress 57 has arrived at the International Space Station. This is Mission Control Houston.